following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. It's Tuesday. It's time for Main Street Sports. Today on the program today, the guys welcome Chip Walters of the Blue Raider Network for his weekly visit. Also, Columbia Central head coach Bobby Sharp with his first interview since being named at the helm of the Lions will join us today. Also, Top 5 Tuesday and so much more. Now to the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer and Sports Writer of the Year, Mo Patton. Here's the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Welcome into this Top 5 Tuesday, and boy, do we have a great show lined up for you. As you heard, Chip Walters, Bobby Sharp. Got a lot of NFL to get to as well. I got some questions, fellas. Also, all nine coaching vacancies have been filled, so we'll talk about all of that. NCAA basketball, bubble watch. It's getting that time. It's crazy. We're almost, what's freaking me out about it is that my daughter's first birthday is the 25th of February, and it's like, holy crap, how? Right? So
time flies when you're having fun or something like that. March
being around the corner is freaking me out. A lot to get to. Top 5 today is really cool. Top 5 historical games you would want to attend. So, man, what a great show we have. Might as well get right into it. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Exactly.
Hey, I got to give a shout out. A couple of weeks ago, I was at the Region 7 AA duels wrestling duels over at Summit. And the guy that runs their sound is Jarvis Little's dad. I don't know his first name, but he's a friend of the show. And when he saw me walk in, he said to himself, I got to play
Tone Loc
for the Main Street Sports guys. So yeah, he got that in for us.
That's awesome. I always love when folks get the little nuance of the show. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Let's give them yesterday's results. Today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
Let's do it.
This is your Tuesday Rundown brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated.
In high school boys basketball action on Monday night, Zion Christian with a big 79-45 win over Riverside Christian. It was Santa Fe behind 32 points from Andy Slaughter, downing Wayne County 72-46. And Frank Hughes with a 59-25 win over Hampshire.
You sure you got the right Slaughter?
I absolutely got the right Slaughter.
In girls action, it was Riverside downing Zion Christian 47-35. Wayne County over Santa Fe 65-35. And Hampshire went to Frank Hughes and got a big win, 74-28.
23 points from Kayla Stevens in that one. NCAA men's basketball action. MTSU bounces back from that loss to UAB with an 84-75 win over Texas San Antonio. Belmont also 72-58 over Austin P. In women's action, Belmont defeated UT Martin 45-39.
Tonight's schedule, Columbia Central travels to Nolensville. Richland hosts Culleoka. Santa Fe is at home against Collinwood. Hampshire goes to Wayne County. Independence is up at Franklin. Lawrence County over at Marshall County.
Also, Loretto is at Lewis County. Mount Pleasant travels to Fayetteville. Summit hosts Ravenwood. Spring Hill goes down to take on Lincoln County. Summertown is at Giles County. And Zion Christian goes to Lancaster Christian.
In NCAA men's action, Lipscomb is at Liberty. The Flames trying to get back on track with their win streak, I guess. The Bisons hope to keep them on the losing streak. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. Check it out. Missouri is at Vanderbilt tonight. That's an 8 p.m. tip on SEC Network. In NBA action on Bally Sports South at 7 o'clock tonight. You can check out the Grizzlies hosting the Clippers.
One game that we missed in high school basketball action tonight, Columbia Academy girls open District 3 Division 2A tournament action tonight at home against Battleground Academy. That's a girls-only game. It starts at 6 o'clock.
There you go. That's going to do it for your Tuesday rundown.
I remember that one because that's where I'm going tonight. But also the schedule for that district tournament is at the bottom of the weekly schedule. So you didn't scroll all the way down, which means there's probably a lot of people that didn't scroll all the way down. But trust me, that tournament schedule is at the bottom of the schedule on the website, mainstreetmurray.com. So go check that out.
All right. Top story. I guess technically this is the first pitch for us because
this
Hall of Fame baseball coach.
This would be a first pitch for us and an unfortunate one at that. Mel Brown, who is as Chris said, Hall of Fame baseball coach from his days at McGavock, longtime teacher, coach, and administrator in the Metro Nashville public school system. Finished out his career as principal at Mount Pleasant. Took over there in 2004, retired in 2018. Passed earlier this morning after a extensive battle with cancer. Coach Brown was 78, and if you knew Coach Brown, he was just obviously indescribable. I mean, he was just so impactful, and I just think he made an impact on anybody that he came in contact with, and I was fortunate enough to be in his presence on many occasions, both as a coach and as an administrator. And I don't know anyone that knows Coach Brown that didn't think the world of him. And it's a huge loss for Metro Nashville and for Wilson County. And just wanted to pass along our well wishes to his family and friends.
Obviously I didn't know him and had never met him, but I did see, and I don't know if you saw the quote from Trey Perry saying that, up until 2006, I only searched for the approval of one male in my life. And after 2006, when I came to Mount Juliet, I was searching for his approval as well. And I think that speaks to his leadership ability. It speaks to the atmosphere that he created at Mount Juliet, and I think it's pretty impressive that a guy like Trey Perry would say that. So
I think the phrase that would fit Coach Brown would be an iron fist and a velvet glove, man. I mean, he was a strong man, and he ran a tight ship, but he wasn't that I'm in charge kind of guy, Yep. And just like Trey Perry said, you wanted to please him. You didn't feel threatened to have to please him. He'll be missed.
No doubt. All right, that's going to do it for the first segment. When we come back, we've got Chip Walters, voice of the Blue Raiders, joining us each and every Tuesday. He's a little early today, but that's okay. He's got I'm not sure if he's doing his radio show tonight. I know Rick Insel's doing his, but I don't know if Chip's doing it. So I guess we'll find out on the other side of the break. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Hey, welcome back to Main Street Sports Today. Chris Yow, Mopat, and JP Plant pushing the buttons, chiming in anytime we talk about Lawrence County.
Or Vanderbilt.
Or Vanderbilt, that's right. We will not, in fact, talk about well, we might. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm not going to say never say never, as Tom Brady would say.
There you go.
Apparently.
Well, when you talk Blue Raiders too, I'm a true Blue Raider as well. So
that's true. You are a true Blue. Oh, and we are going to talk about the true Blue Raiders in this segment because we get a chance to talk to the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters, who joins us now. And boy, makeup games make for a weird week, I assume. So
yeah, they do.
Monday night games are unusual for Chip. So I'm not sure if he's like, if he woke up today and thought it was Sunday or what. How you feeling today?
Well, yeah, doing okay. It was, the game had a couple of hairy moments late, but Middle led for the most part, hit their first 9 shots of the second half to push a lead out, held off a UTSA ball club. Now, while Monday night may be weird, at least it was at home. Mm-hmm. And I felt for my pal Andy Everett and at UTSA. They left home last Wednesday from San Antonio, went to Houston, played Rice on Thursday, then up to Denton on Friday on a travel day, played North Texas on Saturday, then flew to Nashville on Sunday, bust down to Murfreesboro, played the game last night, and then flew out this morning. So they're just getting back home this morning. So if I feel a little wacky, it's nowhere near what they are. So, but the good thing for Middle's men is they got able to flush the UAB game out and get back on the winning track. And they've now won 12 in a row at home with 2 more home games to go this week. And you're starting to do a little scoreboard watching, do a little standings watching, things like that. It's kind of fun this time of year when that's going on.
Chip, that's just what I was getting ready to ask you. Coming off of that 97-75 loss down at UAB, the quick turnaround was probably a little welcome for Coach McDevitt and the guys.
Exactly. I mean, he even said it on his post-game show as I'm talking to him and asking him the question. He's mouthing, back to me, we want to play, and that's what they were able to do last night. And I'll tell you, the UAB game, I mean, that was Middle had kind of had the upper hand the first, 16 minutes of that game. And all of a sudden, Jelly Walker starts going crazy. And it's one of the best individual performances I've ever seen anybody have against Middle. He had 42 in the game, had 26 at halftime. and cooled off for a smooth 18 in the second half. But I mean, he was hitting stuff off the break, and just it was very impressive. And UAB kind of flexed their muscle. They're probably the best overall team in the league. Doesn't say they can't get beat on a given night or in the tournament, but to me, they've got the best combination of offense and defense that I've seen. They're one of the top 10 in the country in steals. They just score a ton of points, and they've got weapons. So they're hard to beat, and they have not been beaten at home this year. And there's a good reason why. And Middle found that out. But Middle's also not been beaten at home, and they've got two big conference games with Old Dominion coming in, and then Charlotte. So those will be two very different styles of game. With Old Dominion, it's kind of first to 60 wins and a defensive grinder, and then Charlotte will be a little more wide open kind of play. That's more their style, and Middle is the only team in the league that's won games in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s so far this year.
Pretty versatile. Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, with us here on Main Street Sports today, and Chip has this uncanny knack of taking your segues away from you, because I was just getting ready to get into the fact that Middle had won like 12 straight at home, and they were getting ready to play their next two at home.
It's because he knows. He knows.
He knows.
We've been doing this for how long have we been doing this with Chip? He knows where we're going before we do at this point.
So he just goes ahead and goes. Yeah. Chip, is Jeff Jones still at Old Dominion, or how far behind am I?
No, he's still there. And Jeff went through a little cancer scare a couple of years ago, but he's there. The look of their team, if you remember back 4 or 5 years ago, they had some really, really good teams with some great guard play. And right now, that's not their makeup. Their makeup is they've got a couple of big post players, and they just try to absolutely throw it down in there, and you try to guard those guys. So that's the expectation. Jeff is one of the all-time really good guys. I mean, from his playing days at Virginia to ended up coaching there, then coaching at American. Now he's been at Old Dominion, I think, somewhere 10 to 12 years now, and he's done a really good job of having them in the mix, almost year in, year out, and really a great place. That's one of the really good jobs in Conference USA.
It's got to be one of the better arenas in Conference USA as well. I was fortunate enough to go up there to cover a women's NCAA with Vanderbilt some time ago, but really nice. I mean, it was obviously newer then, but I would think it's one of the better facilities in the league. Or if it's not, there's some really good ones.
I think so. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it really is, and it is one of the newer buildings in the league, and it has just a lot of fan amenities. It's right there off the edge of campus. And it has a newer feel to it, and it seats maybe 8,000-9,000.
Mm-hmm.
But they draw really well there, and that Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area is just huge with a lot of folks there, and they're the biggest college draw in that local area. If you want to go see a game, Old Dominion is where you want to go. But they're kind of right in the middle of things. Looking at the standings after last night. Let's see here. Ashley Walker sent that out this morning. In the East, not everybody has played the same number of games because there were games. Middle was involved right in that opening weekend of, having some games postponed due to COVID. But right now, Middle is a half game behind FAU. Now, seeing FAU at the top of the East standings, second week of February, also a bit unusual, but they beat Louisiana Tech at home over the weekend, and they've been holding serve at home. Middle 6-3, Charlotte 6-4. Charlotte won last night. on the road at FIU in a makeup game. So that kind of sets up Sunday's game to be pretty big. Old Dominion is at 4-5. Western, they've been just shorthanded, and they got back on the winning track over the weekend. But they're at 4-6. FIU 3-8. Marshall has had their struggles. They're 3-9. The West is a little more defined. North Texas is at 10-1. UAB 8-2. Louisiana Tech 8-3. And that's kind of where the power is in the league this year is in the West. UTEP, who will be coming in here in a couple of weeks for another makeup game, they've won all of a sudden 6 in a row, and they're 7-4 and making noise in that division.
You just talked about Charlotte coming in later this week. 4-time freshman of the week, Ali Khalifa, the 6'11" center out of Alexandria, Egypt, who, get this, Mo, had a double-double over the weekend, 16 points. And what do you think his other double was in?
6'11", you say?
Yeah.
Blocks?
Nope. He had 5 rebounds, 10 assists.
Oh, wow.
Never
would have guessed that.
How does Middle match up with this 6'11" gargantuan from
Passer.
Egypt? Yeah.
Well, last night was the 4th straight game that Middle's had to face a 7-footer in the middle, and they've won 3 of the 4. Trey Jemison at UAB, I think, was by far the most active of the 4. The kid last night, Barber, kind of got better as the game went along, but and they're doing it with 6'6" DeAndre Dishman, who had almost. He hasn't, but it's almost like he's had a total knee replacement. He's had, he had reconstructive surgery on his knee, and he's not the active player that he was his first couple of years when he was at Eastern Kentucky. But what he brings, he had 5 assists last night, I think, and he brings his old man game with a lot of smarts and knows how to play, and that's not a rub on him at all, but that's a compliment because he's kind of figured out what his body can do and how can he best use it in college, and he was fantastic last night. As a matter of fact, he was our player of the game. He had 18 points, which was a career high at Middle for him, and had a great night. Really terrific leader. So they will come up with a plan, and you can't teach 7'5" or 7 feet tall, and Khalifa may be one of the better passers of the big men that we've seen so far in the league.
MTSU women riding a 4-game winning streak, the last 3 at home, including Saturday's 75-55 win over UAB. They take their show on the road this week at Old Dominion on Thursday night and at Charlotte on Sunday, 12 noon start.
No,
I guess that's 12 noon Central Time,
Saturday,
right?
The women play on Saturday this week, and for some reason, Conference USA has scheduled a bunch of men's games on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So the guys will play at 2:00 on Sunday afternoon, and the women will play on Saturday. I think you're right. I think that is noon Central Time, which will allow them to, get that road trip completed and get home on Saturday night. So there's another week. The last week of the season is a spread out week where you play on Wednesday and Saturday. And not sure why the league chose to do that, but they have, and you play them and go on. But the women have really kind of gotten back on track, and their 2 losses this year on the road at FIU, on the road at UTEP. Everything else has been in the win column, and they have just kind of been blasting people lately. The 2 Russian girls have really played well, and they're both young, and they're both just, you can see them getting better and better every game. And Old Dominion has been one of the tough places in the league to play on the women's side. So that's a big one for them on Thursday night. Is anytime you can go and you can split a road trip at least, or Coach Ensel doesn't believe in splits. He wants to win them all, which everybody does. But this one is, Old Dominion has been one of the better teams in the East over the last few years, along with Middle and Western.
There you go, Chip. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Are you are you doing the radio show tonight? I know Ensel's doing his. Are you doing one? Well, there you go.
We're doing our radio shows tonight. Yep, Coach Ensel at 6, Coach McDevitt at 7, and just a little food for thought before we talk next Monday. Can you believe that a week from Friday, baseball season will be underway?
No.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the schedule, looking forward to maybe getting up to. I might try to get up to Belmont after the show one next Tuesday week. I guess Tuesday week. 2 weeks from today.
Something like that, yeah.
2 weeks from today. So, yeah, it's crazy, man. But hoops are still happening. So we appreciate it, Chip, as always. Thank you, and we will talk to you next time.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, at Choose Chip on Twitter for all of your real estate needs as well. There you go. When we come back, we will talk about some more NCAA basketball because, like I said, it's bubble watch time. Who's getting in? Who's a lock? Who's not? Who should be? We'll get into it right after this on Main Street Sports Today. Back to the Lee Company studio after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Oh, yeah. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today to the Lee Company studio. I'm Chris Yowell alongside the Hall of Famer, Mo Patton, JP Plant. I see JP's got his Gatorade over there.
Finally unthawed?
Didn't
Or is it? Is it unthawed?
I took it out about 10:30 this morning.
And it's still got a big chunk of ice in
Still
it.
some ice in it. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's nice and cold, right?
But
Yes.
have you tried to drink it?
Yes.
Okay. It's super sugary, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
all the water
Uh-huh.
is frozen and all the juice, like all the flavor and stuff, is unfrozen. So it just tastes like
Yeah, it doesn't taste right.
It tastes extra sweet Gatorade. It's weird.
And this is G2, so it's supposed to be lower sugar.
Right.
But
Doesn't
you're
taste like it.
Whatever sugar is in there, you're getting
I'm
All
getting it.
of it.
I'm
So
getting it
there
all.
you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Anyway,
Full disclosure,
What's
not a Gatorade guy.
Never
Never been a Gatorade guy. I'd rather just have water.
I like those. I like the ones that are lower sugar that kind of they taste like a flavored water almost.
I don't like flavored water. I like
No.
water flavored water.
I don't like water.
You like the
I
taste of
don't-
water, Mo.
I do.
I do not. I don't want, unless I am really hot and it's really cold, I don't want water at all. Period.
I'd rather have water than Gatorade or any other sports drink any day.
I can't. I mean,
Just
I'm not a huge
but
Gatorade
I'm
guy.
just old school. I mean, in case we've not previously established that.
I mean, I'm not a huge Gatorade guy,
Mhm.
but I would rather have like Mio or something to put in my water. It's got to be flavored some, or I'm not drinking it. Just can't do it.
Hmm.
I didn't like it when I was playing sports, much less just regularly around.
Did you have Gatorade on the bench?
No, we always just had water, and
Always had water.
Diva.
I just don't like it. I mean, I'll drink it if it's what we got, but if you notice, you always find a lot of half-drink water bottles around the office and around the studio because
Half was all you could
that's all
tolerate.
I could do.
Wow. Well, that does explain a lot. Okay.
So there you go.
Mm, mm, mm.
Oh, let's talk some college hoops here because first kind of a look at really the locks and bubble teams around college basketball, and I'm curious what some other folks think, but I'm also curious what you guys think as well. We'll start in the SEC because according to this particular bracketologist, not the one who is friend of the show that we probably need to have on at some point in the near future.
I guess if we're going to start talking about this stuff, we probably should.
I can't believe it's time to start talking about it, but
I'm
anyway.
not sure it is, but
Eh,
anyway, go
yeah,
ahead.
maybe not.
I was just looking at MTSU's schedule while we were talking to Chip. I didn't realize they had that many games
What?
still left. I think they got
8 or
about-
10,
Yeah.
Yeah. and probably half of those at home.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 9 regular season games remaining.
So not 8 or 10.
9. Yeah, right.
Neither 8 nor 10, Chris. It's 9 as
It's
a matter
9,
of fact.
exactly. It's 9, and 5 of those are at home,
I
where,
did
where they are unbeaten this year. So that's
That bodes well for the Blue
it really
Raiders.
does. Yeah, yeah. So, but anyway,
In the SEC, Auburn and Kentucky are the only locks according to ESPN. I think that's. I don't know what Tennessee could do to get to play themselves out of the tournament, other than
that's
lose.
kind of what I was thinking. I mean, I feel like. I mean, okay, Auburn and Kentucky are your locks. I feel like Tennessee's going to get in. I don't have the standings in front of me. I feel like
Well, they're 5-1 since Kentucky ran them out of the gym, and that one loss was on the road at LSU.
And again, I come back to this, just like we said, Vanderbilt wasn't going to lose Saturday night when they were retiring Shane Foster's number. Kentucky wasn't going to lose to anybody hours after the passing of Joe B. Hall. I mean, UT was just wrong place, wrong time there. I know they have had some ups and downs, UT has, but I don't think they are a team that anybody wants to see in a postseason situation.
Yeah, I mean, they're 4th in the conference right now. Well, I guess 4th. They're tied for 3rd with Arkansas, who, by the way, they play here coming up soon, and that's well, I guess it's the 19th, so it's a little farther away. They still got Vanderbilt at home, Mississippi State on the road, and Kentucky at home before that game. So 3 really tough games for Tennessee.
I feel like Arkansas is another team that
Should be a
it's
lot.
tough. It's tough for me to see a scenario where either Arkansas or Tennessee are not in the NCAA tournament.
Well, ironically, they are 4th in the should be in list behind it's Tennessee. Tennessee is the 3rd team they think is going to get in, then Alabama, then LSU, then Arkansas. But they are should be in.
And the thing is, Alabama, as you look at the SEC standings, is also in a log jam at 4-6 with LSU, A&M, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. Goodness gracious.
Not all 4 and 6s are
Created equal.
created equally.
But those teams are tied for 7th.
That's what's crazy is Alabama has 3 top 10 wins and they're 7th in the league.
And they're 14-9.
That
So-
doesn't make any sense to me.
No. And I don't know how you explain it.
I mean,
I don't think you do explain it.
It's because Florida and Mississippi State are respectively 5th and 6th, and both of those two teams are the work to do. They're on the bubble.
I don't think either of those teams, to your point, has played the schedule that Alabama has played.
I agree.
I don't think they've played the schedule that LSU has played even. And so maybe that's where the work to do comes in, because they're going to have some opportunities. I
Like
don't know what
Tennessee
their schedule is
tomorrow.
to pick some folks off and improve their resume as they head into postseason play and postseason consideration.
Yeah, Mississippi State hosts Tennessee tomorrow night. So
Starkville is never a fun place to play. So Tennessee needs to go in there on their P's and Q's.
I find this interesting. Memphis is on the work to do list. There are 2 American teams that could get in.
Who and who?
Houston is a lot.
Mhm.
They're a top 10 team, and Memphis. The American Conference that we just talked about off air, how Conference USA used to be a 3-4 bid league,
Mhm.
and then they all went to the American, and now both of them look to be potential 1 bid leagues. So,
What's Memphis's record?
off the top of my head, I
Oh,
couldn't take
it's
12 and
not
8.
that- They don't have it there.
12 and 8. They did not have it there.
Yeah.
Now they've got Houston still to play. Of course, it's on the road.
That's a huge game for Memphis. Clearly.
I mean, it's probably it's probably make or break.
And as we talked weeks ago when that Memphis UT game at Bridgestone got canceled,
Memphis needed it.
that Memphis needed that game badly, because they aren't going to have a whole lot of opportunity in conference play, obviously, for resume building wins.
Yeah, they've got Houston at home to end the season, regular season. They go to Houston Saturday. They've got Cincinnati and right after Houston. So that's Cincinnati used to be a big win.
Mhm.
Now it's it's okay, I guess. Wichita State used to be a big win. That's not going to give you anything. So, I mean, right now, the AAC and Conference USA look to be 1, maybe 2 bid leagues. And, man, and the SEC is potentially going to get
6.
maybe 7. I mean, all 7 of those teams that are tied for 7th and beyond could get in.
Mhm.
You never know. It's insane. And maybe this, to your point, it might not be time to start talking about who's on the bubble just yet, because everybody's still got a chance.
Well, and everybody's on it.
Everybody is on
It's
it
a
just
crowded
about
bubble.
at this point.
Yep.
So, all right, let's take a break. It's halftime. We'll tell you what I watched so you don't have to when we get back on Main Street Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org, or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today, or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Still no new commercials, Mo. It's okay. Just got to give.
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that.
We do.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. So let me tell you what I watched last night on Netflix.
Hear that beeping of the bus.
So
what'd you watch?
Didn't have to.
Okay.
The stupid Sean Payton movie. Home Team.
Not good?
Did you watch it? Have you seen it?
No.
Thank God you haven't. I turned it on because I watched it for this 3-minute segment. I watched an hour and a half movie for this 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Because it is absolutely ridiculous. It is a very bad Little Giants remake. Literally. I mean, that's what the movie is. It's
Essentially, it's
Little
the
Giants.
premise. Yeah.
That is the movie. It's ridiculous.
And it's about Peyton coaching his son, right? Youth league.
Yes. And he goes to Texas or wherever.
So
they
is this
are.
the year that he was out of coaching?
The year
Yeah.
he was, during the
That's
during
simply
his suspension.
that's simply just the backdrop of the movie, right? There's not a whole lot to that, right?
very little about that in this movie. Yeah. And Kevin James playing Sean Payton is hilarious in and of itself, but it's a Happy Gilmore, it's a Happy Madison production.
Yeah.
Adam
so-
Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
So Rob Schneider. No, Rob Schneider is in
Huge
this movie.
difference, by
Yes.
the way.
Yes, Rob Lowe with his NFL logo is just randomly sitting in the crowds. No. He's in this
Who's
movie
Bigelow?
and plays the stepdad, the new husband of
Of
Peyton's
Sean Payton's ex-wife.
ex, and
Oh,
he's
wow.
supposedly some Zen guy who it's so you've got a really good athlete in Sean Payton's kid and mom and this Zen stepdad. It's hilarious. And then it gets nuts. But anyway, long story short, they play the Porcupines in the championship.
The
And
Porcupines.
the Porcupines. Cupine. And it's don't watch it, but it's
Or
it's
if you
exactly-
do, don't expect too much
it's
out of it.
exactly what you think it is. And then at the end, you know how they repaint the water tower, home of Danny and Kevin O'Shea. So at the end of the movie, he walks over and he pushes his Lombardi trophy back and puts this little football trophy in front of it. It's and he treats his assistant like she knows nothing about football because she acts in the movie she doesn't know anything about football. He's like, we need a RB1, and she says, was that Russell Brouts? That's not how you say the vegetable. Oh man. Come back. We've got plenty of NFL talk on the other side. Stick around. Main Street Sports Show returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner. Look of a winner.
Time for the second half of Main Street Sports today. Coming up in the second half, the guys visit with the new Columbia Central head football coach Bobby Sharp will join the show. Plus, Top 5 Tuesday, historical games you wish you could have attended. Wide open. Back to the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Hope Hatton. Here's the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao.
Welcome in. It is the second half, and we are deep into the NFL in this segment because I'm just going to ask you guys, what do you think? Has the NFL's Vegas experiment failed already? Coming off of Alvin Kamara's arrest over the weekend during the Pro Bowl, right? And at least 2 arrests during the season. You just don't, that's not something you hear about a lot in the NFL. And yet 3 arrests, 1 season in Vegas, because honestly, Vegas is not a place that, it's a place where trouble finds you.
And I think that's a worst case scenario. I mean, I don't know that you can argue your point, but I don't know that you can argue against it. I mean, what you're saying makes sense. I guess any arrests are too many. I mean, can you say that more has happened with the Raiders than has happened, or more has happened in Vegas involving pro football players than it has in any other NFL town? I mean, is that quantifiable?
How many other arrests have there been in the NFL this year?
I mean, I couldn't tell you. It's not something that I've really actively
Zero
kept up with. Is that if that's right, then
0. I mean, Isaiah Wilson, probably the last person to be arrested that's in the NFL, and he never actually got into the NFL. I mean, so I just feel like Vegas is one of those places where it kind of like LA, but not really, because Vegas is a small town. In case you don't know this, Las Vegas is really tiny. Not like LA where there's 2,000 nightclubs spread across the town. There are 50. And in those 50 is everybody who lives there, plus the millions of people who go there a year, and they're there all night long. And they've been getting free drinks all night long. And I don't know the validity of this rumor. It is strictly a rumor. I want to make that very clear. But Alvin Kamara's situation, there's a rumor out there that says the guy he allegedly beat up, he and his friends, was talking trash to him about how he could whip Alvin's butt the whole night, was following him around. That's the kind of thing that happens in Vegas that doesn't happen in other places.
So you're going to penalize the city for somebody acting a fool, or for a handful of people, or for a bunch of people acting a fool?
I'm just saying that in the world of the NFL, this doesn't happen anywhere else.
Well, and maybe it doesn't, but I mean,
what about Ray Lewis in Atlanta when the Super Bowl was there?
That's one time. My point to that is you can remember that from 2000, whatever, right? This just doesn't happen a lot in the NFL, and it happened 3 times this year.
The NFL can't address things that have been going on for 30 years. They're not going to address something that's going on for 1 year.
That's why I'm asking your opinion. Do you feel like, is this something that they're just going to have to let it play out over time, and eventually players are just going to have to understand you got to be smarter in Vegas than maybe anywhere else you would play?
Yeah, Vegas isn't going anywhere.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that it should.
The NFL and Vegas are not going anywhere. You can't put that genie back in the bottle, and they're already in bed with gambling. So they're gonna be there.
How much does this affect the idea of Major League Baseball expanding to Vegas?
You'd like to think that baseball would look at what you just said. They've had these incidences over a calendar year or whatever, but I don't know that baseball is smart enough.
Well, isn't Manfred like from Vegas or something?
I don't know where Manfred is from, but wherever he's from, I wish he'd go back.
That's neither here nor there. I just thought, let's get some ideas and your thoughts on that. I feel like it's going to take time and it's going to take some getting used to for these players, because nothing good happens after midnight, right?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Stay home.
I don't know. I mean, I get everything that you said. It's a small town. There's a lot going on, that kind of thing. But what is it about Vegas that makes you go out drunk and drive 130 miles an hour or whatever it is that Ruggs was doing?
Well, and I think Ruggs is a little different than the other two, because the other two were situations created by other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest issue, is the other people. I don't think it's necessarily the NFL players' faults for most of this.
Well, which makes it even less reason to blame the NFL for it. I mean, I just think the bottom line is, like you said, the folks have got to be smarter. And yeah, okay, you can kick my butt, fine, and walk away. And I know that goes against everything that a world-class athlete,
former Alabama running back,
knows.
Alvin Kamara.
I mean,
when he does something bad, it's former Alabama.
Oh, okay. When it does something good,
it's former Tennessee running back.
Wow. Regardless of where he went to school, I know that goes against everything that those guys know.
Yeah.
But, it's better to walk away from that than be where he is right now.
I just think,
even though he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. I mean, guy talking trash, he popped him in his mouth
8 times.
Well, maybe it took 8 times to prove the point. No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, never.
Next question.
Yeah, right.
Well, we don't have time to get into the vacancies. I'm sure we will. Look,
they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere, and the Super Bowl is this week. We've got plenty of time.
Well, you got maybe about a year to talk about these coaches.
Yeah. So
it's not the coaches necessarily that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's the teams.
Yeah. So let's push that to tomorrow. We'll talk about all 9 NFL teams have coaches. We'll go through the list. We may even grade the hires. I know we graded some. We've got some more to grade. So speaking of coaching hires, our next guest is Columbia Central football coach Bobby Sharp, who was named yesterday by the school to be their new football coach. So when we come back, we will talk to him about why he chose Columbia Central. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee. Main Street Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joints to the Lee Company studio. We return as we get ready to talk to newly named Columbia Central football coach Bobby Sharp here on the show. Glad to have you guys with us. Don't forget to follow us at MS_sports today. That's MS_sports today on Twitter. We'll be bringing you the most timely and comprehensive coverage of all things sports in and around the southeastern region and across the country, matter of fact. So, and don't forget Top 5 Tuesday coming up here in just a few moments as we give you
This is going to be fun, by the way.
the historical top 5. I think this top 5 is going to be really, really good. I'm excited for it. So looking forward to it, but I'm really looking forward to this next conversation, Mo, because as far as I know, we can ask him. This may be the first conversation that Bobby Sharp has had with a radio show since yesterday and being named the Columbia Central football coach. So, Coach, welcome in. Thanks for taking some time with us today. We really appreciate it and looking forward to it.
Well, we appreciate you having me on.
Coach, as Chris said, thank you for joining us, and let us be the first, maybe, to welcome you to Columbia? Or are we the first to welcome you to Columbia?
Well, not really. I mean, I came over yesterday and met several. If y'all one of the top 5, I'll say that. But I'm excited to be here. It's really exciting. And of course, it's going to be a big challenge too. So I'm looking forward to that.
Coach, one of the questions that I've been asked more than once over the last 24 hours, I guess, 34 years as head coach at Lewis County, 280 wins, 2017 inductee into the Tennessee Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Why Columbia Central as opposed to going to the house? Why now?
Well, of course, that was an option, a distant option. But, after 34 years at Lewis County, the big thing that happens, your voice gets stale. You need something fresh. Of course, I love working with kids, and I love coaching football. And, after 34 years, Lewis County needs something fresh. I need something fresh. And of course, the big thing, I've been by Columbia Central several times through growing up as a kid, coming by, and of course coming over here scrimmaging and everything. And it's always had an appeal to me. And, I know the type of athletes they have. And just, I've always been curious about it. And when the opportunity came up, surely I wanted to come over here and try my hand at it. But, just the athletes, the atmosphere, the tradition, the culture that they've had in the past, especially what they did in 2009, 10, and 12, hoping to go in and try to reduplicate that, is a big challenge. And, when you've been somewhere 34 years, been coaching 42 years, you ain't got many more rodeos in you. You want to do something real special at the end. So hopefully, my last 5 or 10 years, hopefully it'll be here and, I can wrap it up on a big note.
How old are you, Bobby?
I'm 65.
65.
Young 65.
Young 65.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right.
Young 65.
How much, and I don't know that previous schemes or anything like that really figure into anything, but the fact that Central ran wing T the bulk of this past season under John Moore, how does that speed the transition offensively as you come in here, do you think?
Well, it's going to help because that's going to be a small part of what we do. But, I think through the years, I've become very multiple in what I do. You get labeled as a wing T coach when a lot of times you're doing a whole lot more than that. And, the big thing that I told the committee when they interviewed me was that, if you go back and look at Gus Malzahn's roots, it's wing T. You look at it every Saturday, all this stuff that's going on, it's wing T roots. And, I've got a good friend up at Oakland that y'all know very well. he's got wing T roots, but he's so much more than that. And, he and I talk regular and talk about football. And of course, he's evolved through his coaching career, and hopefully I've evolved. And of course, I still like to reach back into some of that other stuff because here's my big thing. A lot of times, a lot of these young coaches that I deal with, they're real good at stopping spread and all the stuff going on today. But a lot of times when you do some stuff that was done, 40, 50 years ago, that gives them a little bit of difficulty, and I like throwing a little bit of that in. But we are very, very multiple. And to answer your question, what John's doing, a lot of that's what we do. I'm in the gun a lot, running wing T and running gun stuff, but, throwing the ball a little bit more. But, big thing, I love wing T, but that's just a very small part of what we're going to do here.
Coach Bobby Sharp here joining us on Main Street Sports today. Coach, you talk about the multiple options that you have. You got a young quarterback who got a year of experience as a sophomore. He'll be a junior this year. And you talked about the athletes that Columbia Central has, the type of guys like Jordan Davis, like Quan Pete that we talked about yesterday, Mo. How much, that has to be part of the allure of coming here is, the fact that you've got young guys who are experienced and are poised to make a run because, last year this team took the state runner-up to the wire on the road. This is a pretty good team that you're coming into.
Well, they did, and they played good football last year. I know what Coach Moore and his staff did. They came in on short notice and did a fantastic job. With the time that they had there, and of course they got a lot of kids coming back. But I think the thing that I certainly realize, if you're going to make that great run, I think there's two things that are important. And I think if you talk to any football coach, they'll say the same thing. Number one, when you get in those later rounds, you've got to have speed. The Columbians always had speed. They've had great athletes that can run. I think number two, when it gets cold and it's wet and everything, you got to do more than just throw. You got to be able to run off tackle a lot of times. And if you can't do that when the weather gets bad, you're probably never going to play in that championship game. So that's kind of where, the wing T stuff comes in is, you're able to run off tackle when the weather gets bad. But when you're multiple, you can spread it out and you stretch the field both horizontally and vertically, on Friday night.
Coach, how tough is it? How tough was it, having that conversation with those 2022, 2023 guys and everybody else that you are stepping away from over at Lewis County when you've been the fixture there that you are? I mean, heck, the stadium's named for you. You know, what's that conversation like?
Well, you know, it's tough. I mean, I've got 30 kids on my football team whose dads played for me. And, you know, I've got a lot more whose mamas I had in class. I mean, you know, when you've been somewhere 34 years, I mean, that's a tough thing to walk away from. But at the same time, you know, with it being tough, I mean, it's been tough on me, you know, at times saying, man, what am I doing? But just the opportunity, you know, they know the opportunity I've got. And, you know, they're certainly cheering me on like I'm going to be cheering them on. And, but you know, I'm leaving a great staff over there that, you know, I coach every one of them but two. And, you know, I've been preparing them for this time, you know, knowing it was coming. So, you know, they're going to continue to do great things over there, hopefully. But, you know, they're cheering me on as much as I'm going to be cheering them on. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, my desire is to come over here and be a line and see what I can do and with a bunch of athletes and see, you know, it's quite like my career if we can push this thing and make some great runs here and help, you know, the staff that's been here be even better. That's my goal. And the big thing with me, you know, it's never been about me. It's always been about the program. It's been about the kids. It's been about, you know, even our fans. You know, it's been about the community. And that's the great thing that Columbia offers. There's so much excitement in this community that to go back to the 2009, 10, 12, you know, and even further, there's so much tradition in this school system. You know, we got to go back and build on that and enhance it and get back to that so that these kids, you know, have got the same pride that those kids had back in 2009, 10. Not saying that they don't, but, you know, those guys are walking around with a ring on their hand. And, you know, that's the ultimate goal that we want to try to get to. But at the end of the day, building, you know, taking them from boyhood to manhood. That's my goal is to make better men out of them. And, you know, it doesn't matter if it's Lewis County or Columbia Central. You know, it's the same task for me as a coach. But it was hard leaving. But it's also an exciting time for me. And for them, too. They got fresh blood.
Speaking of that staff that's at Columbia Central, Coach, have you made any decisions on some of those? I mean, you will be the third head coach that they've had in 8 months. So do you feel like
right.
you're going to need some of that continuity from the previous staff to stick around?
Well, we are. You know, the big thing, I've talked with Coach Pointer, I've talked with Mr. Edie, and, you know, the big thing we talked about is getting coaches actually in the building. You know, so that they can see those kids day to day when check on grades, you know, make sure they're making the progress that they need to. And, you know, if they're having problems, we can help them with that. And, you know, he needs help in the building, and we want coaches in the building. So, you know, I think this last year they had 3, maybe 4. You know, they need more coaches in the building to help. What we want to do is, you know, take a lot of the coaches that were here and then bring in some more and try to build this thing up. And you know, we want to play great freshman ball, great JV, great varsity. To do it, we're going to have coaches. And certainly this community right now is making a big commitment to get that done. And I think you got to give a lot of credit to, you know, several people. And it's going to make a big impact on what we're able to do. But it's not going to be Bobby Sharp getting it done. It's going to be the coaching staff at Columbia Central. It's going to be the kids from Columbia Central. It's going to be the parents in the community are going to be what turns this around. And it's got to be, you know, collective effort, or, you know, we go back to, you know, just doing the same thing over and over, and that's not good enough. We want to do great things while we're here.
Coach, looking forward to getting to visit with you face to face at Thursday's 5 o'clock press conference at the auditorium over at Columbia Central and to hear more about how you plan to take this thing to the next level after a 7-5 finish, a second round playoff appearance, their first home field playoff game in almost 10 years. So Bobby Sharp getting ready to take Columbia Central to the next level. Much anticipated. This search took, I think, in a lot of people's estimation, a long time, but I think that they're pleased with the way it's gone. And so we appreciate you taking some time with us here on Main Street Sports Today.
Well, I appreciate it, and hey, look forward to seeing you Thursday. And hey, we're looking forward to the spring, looking forward to the summer, and trying to get ready for this coming season. So thank y'all so much for having me on.
Appreciate it, Coach. When we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, we are going to give you our top 5 historical games you could attend. I guess this is college and pro. We're not going to, I guess, I mean, if you guys have a high school game that you would have wanted to attend, matter of fact, I might actually have a high school game that I would want to attend.
Well, I just think it's games, whatever games
it is.
I don't have any high school games, but hey, if you do,
I have one.
There you go.
It just popped in my head when I asked the question. So looking forward to it.
All right.
On the other side of the break, top 5 historical games to get that we would have attended when we come back on Main Street Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back into Main Street Sports Today as we get set to bring you the top 5 games in history we would like to attend. Top 5 Tuesday is brought to you by our friends at Mid-South 5 Fitness. Dallas Steele and the gang over at Mid-South 5 Fitness doing a great job keeping you in shape, getting you ready for whatever you are doing in life, to be honest with you. SteelAthletes.com, at SteelAthletes on Instagram, STEEL, athletes.com. Check out Dallas Steel, and the gang. All right, fellas. This will be one of those. I've got several honorable mentions, but we'll keep those to ourselves until the end because I'm sure some of them could be on other folks' list. So
I'll just say this is tough because I've been to a lot of games. So the number of games that I would like to have been at, it's kind of tough to come up with 5, but I managed. So
yeah. Well, JP, did you come up with 5 games that you would have liked to have been in your entire life?
There's 1 or 2 that are floating around in my head. I like Mo. I've been fortunate to have been to a lot of games. The Titans AFC Championship game in Jacksonville, for one, that was pretty cool. Vanderbilt beating Tennessee in 1982. I was there when I was 4.
remember that one well.
I
huh?
do. Yes, it was raining that day. Yeah. So there are quite a few that I've been fortunate to been to. So yeah, this is a hard one. This is a hard one. The Music City Miracle, I was there. So
That said,
Let's
your-
in. Let's.
what's your
he
number
doesn't.
5?
He doesn't have 5. He only has 2 right now.
yeah, only
So
a couple.
Let's
Oh.
let him stew,
okay, we'll
Yeah.
let him stew.
and we will get into it. I have my number 5,
Go ahead.
and it is the high school one, 1974, Banks and Woodlawn at Legion Field.
Ah,
Yeah,
David-
Jeff Rutledge versus.
David Cutcliffe? Was Cutcliffe not in that game?
I have no idea if he was in that
I
game.
think-
He might have been.
I-
It was Tony Nathan.
Okay.
Tony Nathan and Jeff Rutledge, Banks versus Woodlawn. That's interesting. I he might have been in that game. Where did he go to school? He didn't go to Woodlawn, did
For
he?
some reason, I remember his name being involved with that.
No idea. I just know Tony Nathan and Jeff Rutledge, who eventually became teammates at Alabama, won the national championship and all that. And like 70,000 people were there, except if you ask anybody who was alive at that time, they were all there. So,
So he may have been a coach in that.
oh, wow. Yeah, I guess he could have been.
I'm
74.
looking at he's mentioned in a blog in regards to that game. So
Interesting. I would have never thought. Yeah, I guess 1976. He was at Banks High School.
there you go.
So I guess it was a little bit before that. Yeah, he was there a little bit before, but he did play at Banks. So there you go.
Today you learned.
Today I learned. I did not know that.
I'm here for you.
Interesting.
My number 5 is really obscure, but back in 1992, the 92-93 college basketball season was the last year of Barnhill Arena over in Fayetteville, and they opened the season at home against Memphis or Memphis State, whatever they were at
At the
that
time,
time.
it was-
But at the time, that was a hot, heated rivalry, and Barnhill rocked. And it was appointment TV for me at that time because I just wanted to see that ball game. And I remember wanting to see that ball game and watching it on TV and how intense it was. Arkansas won that game 81-76, but it was everything you expected. And Barnhill was just one of those arenas, like old Racer Arena up at Murray. It was tight, and you were right. Everybody was on top of everybody, and it was Arkansas, and it was Memphis, and would have loved to have been there at that time. Obviously, Arkansas won the national championship the following year, their first year in Bud Walton. But that was a fun game, and that was one that really still stands out to me.
JP, number 5.
Yeah, one came up to me. I'll have a couple Vanderbilt basketball games. One was I think it was the 87 or 88 NCAA tournament second round, Vanderbilt versus Pitt. Vandy was a 2 seed. Vandy was a 7. Pitt was the 2. And Vandy upset them in overtime, but Barry Goheen hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer to tie it. Had a couple of other buckets to lead up into that. So that one.
That game was in Detroit, wasn't it?
I think their next game was in Detroit when they lost to Kansas and Danny Manning, who went on to win the national championship that year.
Yeah.
But the
They
Sweet
beat
16 was in
Oklahoma.
Detroit. Yep.
Yeah.
But this was the second round. I forget exactly where. You know what? It may have been. It may have been in either Boise or Utah. I think it was Boise. No, I don't remember where they played. But anyway, that was it.
Yeah, my number 4, Augusta, 1997. Tiger Woods, first Masters. It was an absolute dominant. Everybody knew what was going to happen, but just to be there for that would have been amazing.
He torched that course.
Torched it.
Yeah, that's a good one. My number 4 is the 2016 NCAA opening round over in St. Louis. MTSU 90, Michigan State 81.
Oh, yeah.
Good one. Good one.
That would have been worth being there for sure.
Good one.
Anything else?
You mentioned golf and the Masters, but one that always stuck in my mind because I wasn't paying attention to golf at that young age, 86 and Jack Nicklaus at the Masters and that comeback to win his 6th grade jacket. To have been there when that crowd swell happened would have been incredible.
No question.
Yep.
No question. My number 3 is Super Bowl 3. The guarantee. That would have been cool. I mean, just watching the people who didn't know what was coming. I would have been watching the reaction of everybody who was like, "Oh my God, what just happened?" Right? Anyway, that would have been cool to be at.
My number 3 is, I guess, officially, it is the 1986 Sugar Bowl. Maybe it was 86, following the 85 season. The Sugar Balls, yes, sir. 35-7 over Miami. When Jimmy Johnson and those guys were just talking all sorts of trash about we should be national champions, blah, 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 blah.
The original, we didn't want to be here, huh?
Yeah, after the fact. Yeah. 35-7. Jeff Powell opens the second half with that sprint to the end zone, about a 60-yarder, I think. And he had played at Whites Creek in high school, so had a little familiarity with him. But yeah, that Sugar Bowl win for UT over Miami was huge at that time.
Huge.
Would love to have been in New Orleans then.
Yep. Speaking of New Orleans, that goes to my next one, which I was in New Orleans, but I wasn't at the game. The SEC championship where Vanderbilt beat Kentucky.
Oh, so you were in the town. What was that?
2010, 2012, something like that. Somewhere in that range. I was working with the Bobcats, and we were traveling, and we had a game in New Orleans the day after Vanderbilt and Kentucky played. And so we actually saw both the Kentucky and Vanderbilt team on the tarmac as we were, crossing paths at the airport. That was a neat thing, but that would have been nice to have been in the arena.
2012.
2012. Okay.
Yeah.
You think as a Vandy fan, I would know that year.
Pretty impressive.
My number 2, January 4th, 1999, Tempe, Arizona. Fiesta Bowl, Tennessee over Florida State. It's the only national championship of my lifetime from Tennessee, and I wish I could have been in that building.
Yeah. My number 2, Game 6 of the 1995 World Series. Atlanta won, Cleveland nothing. Would somebody please score a run because they're not?
Mo, you're leading me once again right into my next one. It is a Braves, but it is and this may be your number one, both of you, but it was 91, I believe, the Sid Bream slide, 92, game
When Sid
7.
slid?
Yeah, the Sid slide, game 2 or game 7. That would have been, and of course the Skip Carey Braves win says it 5 times.
NLCS against Sid's former team.
Yep.
Yeah. Did not make my list.
By the way, who made the throw?
Who made the throw?
Who made the throw?
Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he's not in the Hall of Fame, because he couldn't even throw out Sid Bream.
Wow.
You can't throw out Sid Bream, you're out. That's automatic.
Well, you know the rest of that story?
Oh, tell me.
Apparently, Andy Van Slyke in center field tried to move Bonds over and in, and Bonds waved him off.
Yep.
Way to go, Barry.
And if he had moved over and in,
Probably would have.
No
got to
chance.
it.
he made that throw.
That's so funny.
So, yeah.
Well, I know what Mo's number one is, and it ain't that. My number one,
Yeah, I
What's
know.
his number 2?
I know what Moses is. Yeah. Now that I think about it.
his number 2 is my number one, and that's 95 World Series, Game 6. I mean, God, everything about that would have just been like the fact that it was a 1-0 game.
Yep.
I mean, the electricity in that building had to be just
The
insane.
anticipation, who's going to score?
Yeah. At some point,
Yeah.
because at any point the Braves could have given up a solo home run to tie it, and who knows,
Or a
so,
bleeder and let the floodgates open. Who
Whatever.
knows? Yeah.
so that's my number one.
Well, my number one, I don't have to go far back for. November 2nd.
Oh, that surprises me.
Wow.
I would have definitely guessed April 14th, 1974.
Yeah.
But
April 4th.
I'm sorry, April 4th.
Yeah.
That would have been.
Well, see, no, I was watching that one. I mean, I was
Yeah.
glued to the TV there. I was only 8 years old, but 10. No, this one that just got done, 7-0 over the Astros in Minute Maid, or whatever it is. I would have loved to have been there.
Just to scream, we are.
We are those.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just to scream that. JP, number one.
I think it's one of the ones I mentioned probably. So yeah,
Just
I got what, 3 out, 4 out?
You got 4.
Yeah.
That's good.
There you
That's
go.
good enough. We'll take it.
JP,
Yes.
We'll take 2012.
were you at Shane Foster's Mississippi State game?
No.
That might be your number one.
Well, that time when he was there, I wasn't as close. I was over in North Carolina, so I wasn't as close to Vanderbilt as I was in high school and a little younger. Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to cover them through that stretch.
Senior night? Is
Yes.
that
Yeah. I was
the
there.
9 threes in a row?
Yeah, and it felt like each one was farther back than the one before. Yeah, it was awesome.
All right, that's going to do it for Top 5 Tuesday, brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness. That's going to do it for our Tuesday show as well. Just go ahead and mention everybody is now reporting. Buck Rising, Adam Schefter, everybody. The Titans have extended John Robinson and Mike Vrabel. So probably talk about that later this week. We might have to get Treese on to talk about it. And, obviously, the Super Bowl is coming up, so she'll be covering that.
She'll be a little busy.
Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Again, if you missed any part of the show, they are on YouTube, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, and they're on your podcast platform of choice. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. For Mo and JP, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.